Before you even see the vibrant mountains of spices, you feel the rhythm of 1,000 footsteps echoing against ancient clay walls. This is a maze where getting lost is the only way to truly arrive, and where every shadow hides a story waiting to be told. Imagine stepping out of the glaring North African sun and diving into a corridor of deep shadows and sudden brilliant shafts of light. Above you, a woven roof of palm fronds filters the sky, creating a tiger-stripe pattern on the dusty stones below. The air here is heavy and complex. It smells of crushed cumin, raw cedarwood, sweet orange blossom water, and the sharp, earthy tang of curing leather. Everywhere you look, there is continuous fluid movement. A man brushes past carrying a silver tray of small glass cups filled with boiling mint tea, steam rising into the cool shade. Donkeys laden with woven rugs click-clack their way over the centuries-old cobblestones, while vendors call out to passing crowds in a melodic mix of Arabic and Berber. The air hums with the rhythmic clinking of a coppersmith shaping a lantern nearby his hammer, striking metal like a heartbeat. You are not just walking into a place of commerce. You are entering the beating heart of a civilization that has traded, shared, and survived in these exact alleyways for over 1,000 years. Welcome to the Souk. Welcome to Culture Journey. Today we are traveling to Morocco, a vibrant country that sits at the dynamic crossroads of Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. We are going deep inside the walls of the Medina to explore the ancient labyrinth of the Moroccan market. For the people who live here, the souk is much more than a simple place to buy and sell goods. It is the absolute social center, the neighborhood newsroom, the artisan workshop, and the enduring soul of the city. These markets have outlasted mighty empires and shifting dynasties, serving as a constant gathering point where nomadic desert caravans once traded gold for salt, and where today neighbors still meet over steaming glasses of sweet tea to discuss their lives. To truly understand Morocco, you have to let go of the modern need for maps, schedules, and straight lines. You have to allow yourself to be entirely swept up in the sensory tide of the market. Let us walk together through these narrow passageways and discover the hidden stories woven into every carpet, shaped into every clay tagine, and whispered over every hand-woven basket. If you were here walking beside me, the very first thing that might surprise you is the sheer overwhelming scale of the maze. The Medina, which is the old walled section of the city, is a tangled web of narrow, twisting alleys, dead ends, and hidden courtyards. To an outsider stepping in for the first time, it feels chaotic, completely without logic. But there is a profound ancient wisdom to this architectural design. These streets were deliberately built narrow and winding centuries ago. They cast deep, cooling shadows, protecting the inhabitants from the fierce, unrelenting summer sun. The winding paths also served as a brilliant defense mechanism, confusing foreign invaders who dared to breach the city walls, while offering sanctuary to the locals who memorized every hidden corner and secret passage. As we walk deeper into the shadows, you will begin to notice that the market is not just a random collection of stalls thrown together. It is highly organized, governed by unwritten centuries-old traditions. The layout of a traditional Moroccan souk is almost always dictated by the human senses, and a hierarchy of nobility in the trades. The absolute center of the market, positioned closest to the Grand Mosque, is always the quietest and cleanest area. This is the sacred core. Here you will find the booksellers offering leather-bound volumes of poetry and religious texts. Beside them are the perfumers blending rosewater and oud, and the merchants selling delicate silks and intricately embroidered traditional garments. The air here is fragrant, and the voices are kept to a respectful murmur. But as you move outward from the mosque, the atmosphere dramatically shifts. The noise level rises and the scents become more earthy and robust. You enter the domain of the woodworkers, where the rich, heavy smell of cedar fills the air and golden wood shavings dance in the slanting rays of sunlight. You hear the rhythmic scrape of hand planes and the thud of mallets. Further out near the outer city walls are the loudest and most pungent trades. Here you find the blacksmiths beating red-hot iron amidst flying sparks. You see the dyers plunging raw wool into massive boiling vats of indigo saffron and poppy red, creating rivers of color in the street. And at the very edge you find the ancient tanneries, where animal hides are still cured and dyed in massive stone vats exactly as they were during the medieval era. The souk is truly a city mapped not by street signs but by an ancient symphony of sound and smell. Let us pause for a moment at a small carpet shop tucked away behind a heavy, intricately carved wooden door. The owner, an older man with laugh lines around his eyes, smiles warmly and gestures for us to step out of the busy street and sit on a pile of vibrant woven cushions. Almost immediately, a young boy appears with a gleaming silver teapot, pouring a long, graceful stream of sweet mint tea into delicate glass cups. This is your first vital lesson in Moroccan commerce. Here, time does not equal money. Time equals relationship. In much of the modern world, we have grown entirely used to fixed prices, fast transactions, and ultimate convenience. We walk into a store, swipe a plastic card, and leave without ever knowing the name of the person standing behind the counter. But in the Moroccan souk, transactional speed is replaced by human connection. Here, buying a rug or a brass lantern is a carefully choreographed dance. It is a genuine conversation. The merchant wants to know where you are from, how your family is doing, and whether you truly appreciate the artistry of what he is selling. The bargaining process, which many foreign travelers initially find intimidating, is not an argument or a fight to win. It is a theatrical display of mutual respect. By offering a lower price, you are engaging with the merchant. You are showing that you value the cultural game and respect his livelihood enough to participate. It is a negotiation of worth, not just of the item, but of the interaction itself. When the final price is happily agreed upon, it is sealed with a warm handshake, a smile, and always another glass of tea. It is a beautiful reminder that business at its fundamental core is a human interaction built on trust and shared time. Did you know that many of the artisans working in these small, dimly lit alcoves are practicing trades that have been passed down directly through their families for countless generations? Look closely at the man sitting cross-legged, tapping a small metal chisel into a wide brass plate. He is not looking at a pattern, a ruler, or a blueprint. The geometric design, incredibly complex and mathematically flawless, exists entirely in his mind. His hands move with the accumulated memory of his father and his grandfather before him. The souk functions as a living, breathing museum. In a modern world where almost everything we own is mass-produced by machines in distant anonymous factories, the Moroccan market stubbornly insists on the profound value of the human hand. The slight irregularity in a hand-painted ceramic bowl, or the varied dye lot woven into a Berber rug, is never considered a flaw. It is the proud signature of the maker. The artisans here are the devoted keepers of Islamic geometric art, a magnificent tradition that expresses the infinite nature of the universe through endlessly repeating patterns. Whether they are carving intricate plaster for a riad, cutting tiny ceramic zellige tiles to create a mosaic, or weaving coarse wool into blankets, their daily work is a form of spiritual devotion and cultural preservation. When you eventually take a piece of this market home, you are not just taking a tourist souvenir. You are holding a fragment of someone else's life history, a physical manifestation of patience and a piece of artistic lineage that stretches all the way back to the golden age of Moorish Spain. As the afternoon shadows grow longer and the intense heat of the day finally begins to break, something magical happens within the walls of the Medina. The chaotic, frantic energy of daytime commerce begins to soften and transform. The sharp, urgent calls of vendors trying to sell their wares fade into the rhythmic, beautiful calls to prayer, echoing from the tall minarets above the city rooftops. The light turns the color of crushed apricots, washing the clay walls in a warm golden glow. The souk smoothly transitions from a place of intense work to a massive communal living room. As we emerge from the tight, narrow alleys into a vast, open square, much like the famous Jama El Fna in Marrakech, the energy transforms. Food stalls are suddenly rolling in, setting up makeshift wooden tables and firing up charcoal grills. The cool evening air quickly fills with the irresistible thick smoke of roasting lamb, cumin-dusted vegetables, and sweet cinnamon-sprinkled pastries. Local families gather in the square not to shop, but to socialize and reconnect. Children chase each other freely around the edges of the square, their laughter mixing with the sizzling grills, while village elders sit on low stools, debating the news of the day, and sharing gossip. In the shadowy corners, you might see musicians playing the lute like oud, their melodies drifting into the night air. Or perhaps you will find a traditional storyteller gathering a wide circle of captivated listeners. For hundreds of years before television or the internet existed, this was exactly how history, morality, and culture were passed down from one generation to the next. A man would stand in the center of the eager crowd, spinning elaborate tales of mythical desert kings, clever thieves, and powerful spirits, capturing the imagination of everyone, from small, wide-eyed children to weary travelers resting from the caravan route. Even today, despite the pull of the modern world, the spirit of that ancient gathering remains powerfully alive. The market at night is a glorious celebration of community. It is a democratic space where social boundaries blur, where the wealthy merchant and the humble craftsman sit shoulder to shoulder, eating the same delicious food and breathing the same spiced air under the North African stars. When we finally step out of the Medina walls and back into the predictable rhythm of the modern world, the sudden contrast is completely jarring. The sterile silence of a regular paved street feels almost empty and lonely after experiencing the overwhelming beautiful symphony of the market. But the profound feeling of the souk stays with you long after you leave. It serves as a powerful, necessary reminder of how human beings were originally meant to exist together. We are meant to interact, to smell the world around us, to touch the things we use, and to share physical space with our neighbors. The Moroccan market teaches us a gentle lesson that cold efficiency is not always the highest virtue to strive for. Sometimes taking the longer path, the winding, unpredictable alleyway, the slow, deliberate cup of tea, and the lingering conversation with a stranger hold the true, unmatched richness of life. It reminds us that collective memory is kept alive not just in dusty library books, but in the calloused hands of the craftsmen and the vibrant voices echoing in the public square. In a rapidly modernizing and often isolated world, these ancient bustling markets stand as triumphant monuments to cultural continuity and to the deep, unwavering human need for belonging, identity, and authentic connection. Thank you so much for walking these ancient, vibrant pathways with us today on this journey. If you truly felt the warmth of the Moroccan sun and the welcoming spirit of the market, please take a moment to give this video a like. Share it with someone in your life who loves discovering the hidden, meaningful corners of our world. And please make sure to subscribe to Culture Journey so we can continue exploring the beautiful, endlessly diverse tapestry of humanity together. There is always another incredible story waiting to be told, and we want you right here with us to experience it. Until next time, keep your mind curious and your heart open to the journey.